Hello, Tauros fans, and welcome back to All Access. I have a special guest with me today. Ken Oda is joining me for today's episode. So the Tauros will be on the road this weekend going to Mason City. Last time they were in Mason City, they did have success that Friday night and ended up splitting the series with the Bulls going into the break. Ken, what do you remember about that game?
Really, the Friday night game was a good effort from the Tauros all around. And then on Saturday, two really good periods from the Tauros, but a third period collapse that I think maybe had some of the guys looking forward to Christmas break. The bus dropped guys. I think there were only 7 players who even came back to Minot on the bus after that trip. So I think the guys, they had the lead. I think they thought, all right, we're just going to coast into break here, and obviously North Iowa didn't let them do that. And I think more importantly, it was a lesson learned. We saw this last weekend against the Mallards, Tauros got up and they didn't give the game away in the third period. So I think it was a good lesson for the Tauros coming into break, and hopefully one that they'll remember here this Friday and Saturday when we're down there again.
Yes, hopefully the Tauros will find success on both days, especially since North Iowa is just one place above the Tauros. It's going to be a really big weekend for the Tauros. So be sure to tune into the broadcast if you're not going to be in Mason City, and we'll give you all of the highlights and everything there. But now we're going to go into Ask the Herd. Today's question was for Owen Dawson again, and I know, Will Dawson, you got to be with him whenever he was with the Tauros, and then now you get to see Owen, and both are very funny characters, just big personalities. So the question for Owen was, who is the better Dawson brother? When I spoke with Owen, he said Lewis. So if that tells you anything about Owen Dawson and his personality, that just kind of sums it up right there. But fans, if you have questions for players or just have any questions in general you want to see featured on All Access, be sure to check out our Instagram and Facebook stories every Monday to Ask the Herd. Now that's going to bring us to Tauros Tok. We just put out a video asking the guys who has the best style on the team. Very opinionated video. Some guys were very confident in their styles. Some really admire each other's styles. So if you want to check that out, be sure to head over to TikTok. That is up right now. And then,
did anyone say Kobe Brault?
I don't think so.
See, that's a missed opportunity.
So Ken definitely thinks Kobe Brault has the best style on the team. We'll have to see if Kobe wants to be featured. Give us a little outfit check one day. See if we can get that going. But finally, we have an alumni update. Blake Lizotte with the Pittsburgh Penguins has signed a 3-year extension, and he is a former Tauros. He played 56 games as a Tauros, 52 points. He was with the LA Kings for a while, and then he signed with Pittsburgh back in 2024, and they have since extended him an extra 3 years. Now, you were here when he was a Tauros. Tell me about the times that you remember.
Well, Blake was one of those kids that wasn't supposed to be here. He came to our tryout camp that summer as a free agent. We hadn't drafted him. He should have been going into, I believe, his junior season of high school, maybe even his sophomore year. He was the youngest guy in the league, and showed up at our tryout camp as a free agent, and played so well that, okay, come to training camp. And the plan was he would come to training camp and get experience, and then we would sign him to a tender to come back in a year. But again, he was just so good that he was too good to be cut. And then the plan was, okay, well, he'll stay, he'll go to the showcase, and then eventually he'll go back and play Minnesota High School. And by the time it was time to leave to go back and play Minnesota High School, he was leading the league in scoring. And he's just like, all right, well, can't let him go back to high school now, right? He's leading the league in scoring. He finished the year with us, as you said, put up great numbers, helped us win our first playoff series ever to that point in 2015. We had made the playoffs in 2013 and 2014, but been eliminated in the first year. Get our first playoff series win. The line with him, Christian Mose, and Johnny Walker was, I would say, probably still our most dynamic line in franchise history. Blake won Rookie of the Year that year, was a great player, went and played at Fargo for a couple of years before going to St. Cloud State. Again, he was so good there that he didn't get to finish his college career before the LA Kings came knocking. Just a great kid all around too. That's, aside from putting up a ton of points, he was a really, really good kid. And really happy to see the success he's had since he left Minot. Wore a letter in Fargo, wore a letter at St. Cloud State, and now, not wearing a letter for the Penguins, but even you can see in the release that they put out when they extended him, they talk about how he leads the team in shorthanded time on ice and what an important player he is. He put up the points here as well, but it's the reason he's playing at that level is not just because of his ability to score, it's his ability and the attention to detail at both ends of the ice, and that's really been the key to his game all the way back to when he was 16 years old playing here in Minot.
How does it feel for you, like, being the broadcaster when he was here and then kind of seeing him at that stage now? Like, how are your emotions? What are you going? Like, what are you feeling?
I mean, I remember when he made his NHL debut, we were excited. Like, I watched that game on TV, and he's the first player that I had done a game for that had made it to the NHL, and luckily we've had a few more since. But yeah, it's always a cool moment seeing these guys have success as they move on. Not just not just Blake in the NHL or some of the other guys like Morelli or Pav who have made it to the NHL, but also a couple years ago when the Frozen Four, not Frozen, the regional round was in Fargo. We had guys, Keenan Ranciere, Lincoln Earn, Grant Loven, Andre Pavel. They were all playing in teams that were in Fargo for the first round of the college hockey tournament, and just on a whim applied for a press pass and went down there and got to hang out and talk to all of them, interview them after the games, and seeing them play even on that stage was really cool. So it is so much fun to get to do the games and be part of the broadcast and talk about the moments they had on the ice, and then traveling with the team, you get to hang out with the guys and know them as people as well. So then when you see them 5-6 years down the road achieving big things in their careers, it's really cool.
Yes. Well, that is awesome. And fans, if you're wanting to hear more about alumni that is currently in the works, we are hoping to get that out to you soon. We're going to be talking to all the Toro alumni that we can. So be sure to stay tuned to All Access and our broadcast. And that's going to do it for today's episode, and we'll see you next week.